there, welcome to episode 41 of Performance Cafe. It is lovely to have you here, and if I sound surprised, it's because of retail. And I sort of feel like we had 2020 and we had January and we had COVID. And the other day I walked into the stores and I thought, Evans, they bring out the Christmas gifts and we still haven't sort of started the year yet. And I suppose that is going to be the nature of how we'll remember 2021. It's like all this year of topsy-turviness and adaptability. And, you know, it's like I think some of us have found skills that we didn't know we had. And some of us have realized that we have to take what we have and play with it and adjust and adapt to it. The other day I was watching an insert by Graham Codrington. I'm a really good big fan of his. And he was talking about the strategy for 2021 is adaptability. Now, the moment we hear that, we think, oh, well, that's really easy for the big companies because they've got lots of people and lots of divisions. And so, you know, there's a lot to work with. They've got redundancy in systems and in people and what have you not. And actually today I'd like to speak to the small businesses, and I want to tell you that you are teeming with possibilities for adaptability. And it's quite interesting, but if you're sitting in the Performance Cafe when the camera is not on, and myself or my colleagues are, you know, lamenting the fate of us as consultants, you'll find that we often speak of the fact that turning around things in large organizations is a bit like trying to get an elephant to make a U-turn. And the reason for that is because there's so many moving parts, there's so many people, there are so many different policies and structures and departments and strategies that we work and we make that difference. But it does take long and it does take a lot more work. So when we're working in a small business, and some of my happiest times have been working with some of my smaller clients where we've got 10 or 15 people or 20 people in an entire business, is the fact that you guys don't realize it, but you can be much more agile. I think for too long, we've bought into this corporate is the way to go kind of thing. And please, I'm not blaming corporates. They're lovely and we need them. And they do take care of some of the larger industries that we use to sustain ourselves day to day. But I think we overlook the power of a small and nimble team. You know, there's a reason why guerrilla tactics work so well. It's because there are a lot of individuals, but they can be nimble, they can be agile, they can be quick. And so as a small business, if you have to build adaptability, as Graham has said, for 2021, let's take a look at how you can do it and what works for you in your organization. I think sometimes we overlook the positives of being 7 people, 8 people, 10 people who all are connected, all know each other. Well, firstly, listen to my wording. We are connected. We know each other. So interestingly enough, but when we take a look at conflict, or if we take a look at challenge, it's easier to deal with when people actually know each other, they're connected, and they share an agenda. So let's think about it. Let's break it down to the most basic unit of a team, and that's a family, right? If we take a look at COVID, no one during COVID went, oh, I do hope that someone around me gets COVID so that I don't have to. No one said, oh, I don't care about my family members. No one said, well, very few people said, I refuse to social distance, I refuse to wear a mask, I refuse to wash my hands. And so when we're in a small business, we're in it for ourselves, often not for investors. And here is the thing that works for you. A lot of what we see in more formal organizations are driven by the need to scale and create dividends. Yes, we all want to make money. I don't take that away. And if your business is not making money, well, then you're in trouble. But the focus can be shifted to say, how does each individual contribute in order to get to where we need to be? We have a shared agenda. We want the business to survive. Without it, we can't sustain ourselves. We have a shared agenda that maybe the purpose of the business is close to our hearts. And so it's more than just a job for us. We know each other, we are connected, therefore we want the best for each other. Right? Oh, and we want to make money. So with that shared agenda, we can then take a look and say, how do we package skills, knowledge, resources to the best effect? We don't need a job profile. We just need a role profile based on a particular project. So all of a sudden, instead of having this concept of someone only does X, what we can say is we're a small business, we're nimble. This is this person's core skills and capabilities, but this is also this person's strengths. Where else can this person be used? And how do we swap this up from project to project? That creates a lot of engagement because people feel like they're constantly going to be stimulated. They're constantly going to get something new to do, something new to experience. Yes, there's some people for who that is quite difficult, but you know what? They might have the kind of skills that we use so consistently that for them it won't be such a big shift. For others who want the adventure, maybe they'll take on something new. Maybe they'll learn something new. Maybe you'll grow a new service in your business because there's a region where you can expand that you never realized. So it all comes down to the fact, as I said, that you are positively teaming with opportunities, because in your team, no matter how small, there is more than what you might be looking at. And throw out the rule book a bit and see, how do you make this work for you? Because nothing's impossible. It's just never been done before. So this week on the Coffee Companion slot on Friday morning at 11 SAST, I am speaking to Sylvia Law. Sylvia and I go back, we realized, almost 2 decades. Shocking considering each of us believes we're only 26. But we've worked together globally. We've never met in person. We've spoken many years over Zoom. And we were talking about teams and the importance of team and leveraging every aspect of the team. And that's where I came up with today's thought. If you want to hear more about that, if you would like to hear about her experiences in a variety of corporates where she worked from Germany, then please join us on Friday for our Coffee Companions. She is a lovely person and we had a lot of fun actually making the recording. But until Friday, I hope that you have a great week. I hope that it's teeming with opportunities in every way, and we'll see you then.